Thank you and warm good morning to all of you. It's good to see that most of the chairs are taken. I apologize for starting about 30 minutes late, but that was in the interest of getting everybody in the same place. A couple of things. This is our third summit. DX50 is a voluntary organization that was founded by a couple of CDOs in India. I see Purav is here, and I'm sure during the day some of our other members would come. Jaspreet Bindra has been the founder of this organization, and I've had the honor of chairing this event for the second time. So thanks to all the colleagues and DX50 for making this happen. I think this is really one forum where we can discuss a lot of things on a very neutral venue and deliberately keep it outside of our organizations and our respective interests. First of all, a couple of things about this year's summit. I think the summit is about skill, scale, and soar. So I'm sure many of you are wondering that soar is something that's not happening, or it's probably spelled with an R-E, given the state of things. But I'm sure, as people say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Last year, our theme was around digital at scale, and we had shared the 9S model for managing innovation, where we had said that in order to manage innovation, you need to manage the innovator, the innovation, as well as the enterprise. And we had said that one of the ways to manage the innovator is to have measure them on standard, doing something well repetitively, on sharp, doing one or two things that their boss's boss can talk about to the external world. And of course, we also had said that the third thing was having skills and doing stuff in a way which is over and above what you would normally do. We had said that innovation you can manage by borrowing what Gartner says, which is you need to shape the innovation, you need to make the shift in one place, and then you need to share the innovation all across so that everything is in one place and one thing is in every place. And thirdly, we had shared that how do you manage the enterprise when it's innovating and it has innovators. And we had borrowed from the chairman of the Tata Group, who says that simplify, synergize, and scale. A year has passed by. I'm sure all of you have done a number of things in your organizations which are reflective of the 9S model. If not, good time to start. This year, I would like to leave with three notes on the themes. So one is on skill, which is extremely important. As you're aware, there are 4 generations of workers which are in the workplace now, and we'll have Sunil Bhaskaran, MD of AirAsia, coming and talking about millennials and the future of workspaces. But I think there are 3 things which are pretty important, which is, given the complexity which is happening in the world, we have a lot of people who can describe the problem, but we have very few people who can actually define a problem. I think that's something that all organizations are probably grappling with. The second thing that we find is that there are a lot of people who are aggregators and coordinators, but very few people who understand how to orchestrate things. So, moving from aggregation and coordination to orchestration. And I think the third thing is, given the way the world is moving and the amount of the surfeit of information that targets all of us every day, you need a lot of, you need curiosity, unabashed curiosity, but you also need the ability to curate. Otherwise, the digital exhaust, as it's called, will swamp you. So this is the thoughts on the skill. On the scale part, at least in Tata Steel, we have realized that there are vertical and horizontal markets. One of the things, and I would refrain from talking about Tata Steel, but since it's in public domain, we are going to hit about 250 crore of sales in our Ashiana platform in individual home builders this year. In a year where you know where the economy is, and in a year where you know how difficult it is to get 70,000-80,000 rupees per ticket sale, because that's what rebars is, and it's not a category that really sells like amenable. We realize that this happens when you focus on vertical markets. Vertical markets are those marketplaces which are using platforms and the ecosystem. We have 5,500, 6,000 masons on our platform. We've got contractors, we've got architects, we've got home builders. And the peer reviews, which is where you connect the incipient need to the ecosystem, as opposed to horizontal markets, which connect demand to inventory. Both are extremely valid, but I think organizations need to start thinking about which of the models that they should be choosing where. and the one-size-fits-all does not help. And I think the third area on the SOAR part, which is probably the most difficult, I think there is good news. The DX50, when we set out the organization, our main intent was to help the top 100 Indian legacy organizations navigate the digital transformation journey, which is tough and challenging, and you would have heard numbers that the optimists say that 20 to 30% of digital transformations are succeeding, and the pessimists say that that number is not more than 7%. Nobody is arguing for more than 30%, so it says that it's probably very, very hard. So I think coming back to the point that I was making on SOAR, it's important that we look at a phenomena called tech equilibrium. Tech equilibrium is the fact that companies like Amazon in the world, which bought Whole Foods, are coming into the physical world. So phygital or digital, or now we have a new word called bridgital. So whichever ones that you choose to subscribe to, I think there is a lot which is happening in that space where the digital world is really coming and colliding with the physical world, and legacy organizations which have customers, which have branded assets, which have know-how, and of course are now becoming extremely attuned to the fact that they have large amounts of data which they are potentially generating, and that can be monetized and managed, has an equal chance, because sci-fi tech is also becoming available at consumer cost to enterprises at scale. So I think those are the three main thoughts that I'm happy to. Hopefully there'll be more light which is shed and many other thought trains which would come. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate the time and the investments that you're making. We thank all our speakers who are currently present as well as are going to make their way through the day. It's really the content that makes this forum a success, and everybody here is largely a speaker. I always joke that most of the people who come here are always speaking in one forum or the other. Again, thank you very much. I would like to thank IAMAI for supporting us for the third year in a row. Without their organization, this would not have been possible. And Accenture, who have been our all-weather partners, and good to see that they still see value in this for the third year running. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful conference, and I look forward to our interactions.